Hi, it's Jen here from Port Art Online Studios. Just some photos of how to make your Stay Wet palettes out of different materials. This one here is just a little Tupperware container. There's the lid, there's the base. Inside there's a kitchen sponge, saturated kitchen sponge. On top of that there is greaseproof paper, and this time this has been used to store oil paint. Once you put the lid on that Tupperware container, there you get many months out of oil paint. In actual fact, I've had many months out of acrylic paint by keeping it sealed. So you put the lid on, put a plastic bag around the whole lot, and pop it in your refrigerator. Here's a recycled version of the same idea. This is Ferrero Rocher chocolate box. And of course the big sacrifice is you've got to very quickly eat all of those chocolates. As an artist, that's something you better get used to, making those kinds of sacrifices for your art. Anyway, the next thing you need to do once you've gorged yourself on all of the Ferrero Rocher chocolates, you're left with these little palette holes, which are very convenient. On the other side here, I've actually used chamois, an old chamois. So I've stuck it down with double-sided tape. I've sprayed it to make sure it's nice and wet, closed the lid, covered it with a plastic bag, kept it in the fridge. These are liquid acrylics that I used in a kid's landscape workshop. These have been more than 6 months in the fridge. As you can see, some of them were finished when it went in, but most of them are still as wet as you need them to be. You know, I'll probably throw that out. But you could continue to use that Stay Wet palette for, well, many months. Here's another recycled idea. Sounds strange, but it's just an egg carton. If you staple a chucks or a kitchen sponge to the lid and keep that wet, you basically seal up these little pots where the eggs were, seal it up with paint. So just run over with a varnish or a paint, and then when you mix up your little blobs of the paint you're going to need for a certain project, you can use a palette for 6 eggs or a palette for 12. I use all of these for workshops because, you know, they're reasonably easy to use and throw out whenever you want. But in actual fact, they do keep. The cardboard sort of, it absorbs some of the moisture. You close the lid, you put it in a plastic bag, keep it in the refrigerator, and that will last at least weeks, if not months. But you know, you can just save your sponge, start again with another one. Basically, if it starts to get a little bit disintegrated, the cardboard. But that's a very cheap and easy way to make yourself a Stay Wet palette and not lose any paint during the course of a project. So certainly if you're painting in other people's studios, a Stay Wet palette is very handy as well, because you can take it with you, put it in your fridge at home, take it where you go again to the next place, and you've always got the, you know, the tertiaries and the tints and whatever you've mixed up for that particular project. It's great for acrylics because, of course, there's that tonal shift in the acrylic colours that you don't get with oils. And so sometimes, certainly beginner artists, even you know, intermediate and advanced, can struggle to get exactly the same hue, the same saturation, the same tone. So this is a great way to preserve those colours once you've got the colour that you want. I hope you have fun making one of those.